Hello. Hey, so I made progress since I was last on. I don't know if anybody has seen my previous video where I was doing AZ204 class for Azure development. I think it's it's very lectury, uh, but I almost bailed on it. Got this close. In fact, technically, I did bail on it. As in, I could not get one of the key out. One of the things the lecture has you do is to go on Azure and create a free account, which you can do, and you get like 12 months of services, probably more than enough to finish a class. And it's apparently not terribly expensive to do some of this stuff anyway. I mean, if you're running a website that it gets 20 hits a day, it's probably going to cost you, pennies, very small amounts. I don't know how much. I guess I'll find out if I decide to keep it going after the thing wears out. But like if you don't have very much business or very much stuff going on the website, and you have a fully fleshed website, um, it's probably not very expensive because you do as a pay as you go. So all your apps and all the things that your apps website does is, they don't spin up until the application is calling on them. So your functions that would go get your code or your maybe your orders or process this, that, or the other thing wouldn't even run unless somebody hits the button, hits the link or whatever that would trigger that stuff. Maybe even your website doesn't. I don't know how that works. You might have the website up on a like minimum basis, like it's just running, so you have a base fee. I don't know what that would be for just having your website up and available, but the functions themselves wouldn't spin up unless somebody clicks something that would trigger the functions. Um, so there's a lot of bits in Azure, so it's hard to know what you would be charged, okay, on any given month. So it's an iffy thing, right? So, but ultimately, if you start getting really busy and you start getting like maybe you have a business site where you're getting hundreds of hits a day, maybe thousands. I don't know what it takes to actually hit a big a big point, but ultimately, you might go with like a VM or some other service that just lets you put all your stuff there, and whatever it does, it does. But it's just how much you keep up. What resources are you using? Are you using SQL, what do you call it, a Windows environment, SQL Server environment? Maybe you're running some other functions and triggers that are all within encased, and you just get total uptime charges. Or even then, it might just be data traffic. So I think to some extent, you're always paying a fluctuating amount. I don't know. I think even as a multi-million dollar company who just buys huge chunks, I think even then, if you're getting, traffic that's massive, you're probably still going to get hit for decent amounts of money. Or, it's going to vary because if you get maybe one month you make $1 million and I want to make $10 million. Well, the $10 million month may not even be the dollars you're making, but it could be, you get 10 million hits versus, 5 million hits. Well, the 10 million hits a month is probably going to get more charge than the 5 million hits. Um, Now, I don't know how they do it. There could be chunks, like maybe you say anything under 20,000 or 20 million, you pay this amount. And then you pay a little bit of upcharge if it goes over, or same thing with if it's 100 million or 200 million. I don't know. I don't know all those. I'm not in those kind of numbers. And I'll probably pay as you go for a long time. Even if my website, my business goes pretty good, it's probably still never going to be millions and millions of dollars of access because that's not the kind of business it is. Um, I mean, even if I'm really successful, I'd be surprised if I'm ever making, more than 50,000 a month. I mean, that's a good, successful business, right? I mean, for a game company that just makes, small amounts of employees, um, minimal amounts of employees, and, uh, you carry, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 products, and you're getting a few sales a day. Or maybe it's 10 sales a day or 100 sales a day. I don't know. I don't think this kind of business that I'm doing is ever going to be a multi-million dollar business. But can it run on Azure? Sure. Is it cheaper than running on Shopify? I don't know. Because you're still going to be paying for other services, right? You're still going to pay for the credit card transactions. You know, you're still going to pay the fees for the the tools that interact with the credit card companies, and that's where your fees mostly come from as far as your money coming in. And then you have to have the website hosting it, and hopefully it's functional and it runs up and it got good uptime and things work good, and you know, it's not too bad as far as performance. Is that cheaper than, say, HostGator, where I'm at right now? I use my current website is on HostGator, but even that, I'm going to be redirecting the traffic to my Shopify, because my HostGator account is the one I'm going to reverse engineer, try to rebuild, and put on Azure, just for the sake of learning this application process. And you might know that last Friday I tried to do this, and one of the lessons was go create a function app on Azure, and it told you how to do it. So I went in there and tried to do it, and it kept telling me there's no subscriptions allocated for this. Can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. And I tried a bunch of times. I tried some different approaches, some slightly different settings on the function app to see if maybe there's something there. And I thought, well, what it is they only allow so many free subscriptions on the on these servers, and I couldn't pick one. I tried some Western United States, which is where I'm at. There's like 3 of them. None of them worked. I tried a Central U.S. I even tried both of the Eastern U.S. in toggling, but I came back a few hours later, and I noticed that I had tried one and it didn't work, and so I said, all right, let's try one more time. And this time, I noticed that when I went to go set up the Azure website, it defaulted to an East account. What do you call it? East subscription. And I'm thinking Eastern US. And I'm thinking, well, maybe it defaulted there because that's the one that had some availability at that moment. And I'm thinking maybe it's just one of those things that kind of comes and goes. So you need to get in on the server. Once you're in and it's uploaded, you're now on it, and there's probably a point at which they remove you from that resource if in fact you don't come back frequently. Okay, so like, 30 days, hey, you're going to lose this subscription space if you don't do anything, because we need to give that to other people. I'm guessing that's what it is, unless you're paying them, right? So if you're paying a fixed amount all the time, at least a minimum, they probably keep your stuff there, and then whenever you get stuff later, any hits that bring it to life would probably be, okay, he's active, or the site is active. That's my thought. I'm thinking the free ones get lowest priority, and I wasn't getting on. But now I've pushed it, clicked it, left the default for East, ran it, and it built it, and it allowed it to deploy. So, and what I mean by I gave in and I threw in the towel on it is after failing like 5, 6, 7 times, trying all the different servers, and no clues out there. I went to Google, I went everywhere, and they all just said try different servers. That's all it said. Didn't say anything about other settings, other options, other things to do. Very basic, try other servers. And they don't even tell you how to try other servers. But I just kept going at the bottom. It says try different, a location server. There's not like a way to toggle the server. You can't, like, if one fails, you can't like go to settings, change the server. You can't do that. You have to go back to pretty much creating a brand new one, and then try again. So you can see my function app here called AMG AZ204. That's the function app because it's for this application. It's for this class I'm taking. And it wasn't called that to start. I called it other things, but it seems like there wasn't an easy way to get rid of the things that were in the list, even though they hadn't deployed. So these are the things that are on my site now. And it did work. It did create. But what I mean by I gave up is I actually went to Coursera and said, well, can't do this class, and unenrolled from it, got rid of it. But I was just like, later on, like a couple hours later, I go, let's try it one more time. I'm not good at giving up. I have to keep doing new things. My brain said, well, maybe there's another option, another thing. And I went in, I noticed it defaulted, and I said, you know what, let's try just leaving that alone, not try to get it close to me, because they say pick a server that's near you. So obviously a Western US would have been a lot nearer, or a Central US. And, but nope, not going to touch it. Just leave it as it is. And then I just hit create. And it said, you're good to go. Deploying now. And it deployed it. And voila, here we are. So I can go click on this now. This takes me to this site. and you can see create functions in your preferred environment, create an Azure portal. If it's me, I would use VS Code. I don't want to develop or create things in Azure portal. Yeah, I know there's probably other tools, other features, things that make that usable. I guess if you already know what you're doing, I just like the concept of having my code local, just having it available to me on my machine. I can tweak it offline and deploy it. So it's like I would even use Visual Studio. I'm okay with that. I have Visual Studio, but code is free, and it seems to be a pretty common development area. And it seems like when you do classes or you find anything online, they have you using VS Code, or in this case, it'll probably have me using Azure Portal. But either way, you can use GitHub with them. There's actually ways you can attach your stuff, your code, to Azure here. If I had a branch that had my code in it, I could go on there and say, okay, attach it to this branch. So I can do continuous integration, continuous delivery. I'm hoping it'll go into that, and I'll be able to set that up later. I do have a GitHub, and I will actually eventually probably just make public anything I do for this site, for this class, so you can kind of see what my code was and stuff that I did. Because it's all going to be generic. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not giving out any key information. You're not going to get any of my personal information from it. I mean, I'm not risking anything there. It's just the same stuff that you're going to get from the class, but you're getting my version of it. So maybe I'll do something a little different, like I did with my Next.js stuff, where I had to change the auth, and so my code is on there that has auth set up with the latest version versus the NetNinja version, which is the older deprecated code. Okay, so that said, let's finish this. Let's move on in this class. I'm going to open up so they have these different they don't go too much in the authentication here yet. I'm hoping it will, but again, I'm just learning this stuff. I don't know a lot about Azure. I know the basics, that being, I know how to get to and from, resources. I know how to get to and check the transaction logs and service logs, but that's about how far I got in actually learning it, because the opportunities I had in my previous job didn't let me actually create anything on there. I was mostly just supporting what we had already, and so I was kind of learning some support techniques. But this, I'm hoping I can get in there and actually understand better what's happening inside of Azure, not to mention get more familiar with all the other tools and functionality within. So you can see this is where I'm at in the class. I finished the first part, which is introduction, which is pretty basic. There wasn't even a lot of code in that area. We start getting into a little bit of, I don't think choose the best. This is just more introduction. It's just how to choose what you're going to do with your app. This one spoke a lot about like a bike rental service that colleges might use. Then we got into this. This is where we actually started doing work. I started working on getting this thing created. So I had to create this function app. Did not go well. Finally got it working. I did that offline, sorry. And it was only because I did the exact same thing and it finally worked. It was just because it was saying no, 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 and eventually it said yes. And I explained that a moment ago. So we have this practice quiz, which asked a few little basic questions on what that was. Pretty simple. Triggers and bindings. This is just more talking, reading, just things to go read about it. We don't actually create anything yet, but then this is, this is just reading about creating it. This says we'll create one later, and then we actually created the portal. Now it's reading again. Now all this is adding logic to the function app. I don't actually think we add logic to the function app. I think even when I look at this, interestingly enough, these links, this course is little more than Microsoft's course. I don't, and in fact, I believe the course that Microsoft has is free. So I'm paying Coursera for this class. I don't know why. I I don't know if it's exactly the same. Maybe there's not the reading and the instructions. It could just be like, here's the videos and stuff to do, but there's no like course, no quizzes, no tests, no certification, um, or no certificates of completion. It's not the same thing as certification, right? Because you got to go get certified means take the test. This is prepping you for the test, but this will also say, hey, you did the class, which is still a thing, right? I mean, I completed this class. Hopefully, I can complete the certification. Certifications are expensive though, so if you don't have, a job, spending more money to get a certification, I can try, but it's like I want to say it's upwards of $200, 150. I don't know. The last time my company paid for my last certification, which was Azure Fundamentals, which is not useful for dev. I mean, it's just how to sell the app, learn some basics of stuff, which is great. I mean, I learned what IaaS is and SaaS, and some other concepts. It's really what it is. It's all about concepts. It's really nothing practical. Okay, so anyway, I go here, add a function to your function app. As we described in the preceding unit, Azure provides templates that helps you build functions in this unit. In this unit, you use the HTTP trigger template to implement the temperature service. In the previous exercise, you deployed your function app and opened it. If it is already open, you can open it from homepage by selecting all resources. Again, this is this class, this stuff. In fact, if you look at the top, this is not Coursera. They gave me a link from Coursera's class to this, which is Microsoft's Learn class, which, by the way, which is free. So, you take that for what it is. Maybe these videos give you stuff that goes with the Microsoft Learn. I don't know. I haven't done the Microsoft Learn one. I don't know if there's actually videos for it, And do you want the videos? Maybe you just want to walk through this class using text, and it might be fast. Maybe that would have been better for me because I'm not a big fan of videos anyway. But sometimes PowerPoints at least give you notes to write, right? Okay, so anyway, in the previous exercise, you deployed your function app and opened it. If it's already open, you can open it from the home page by selecting all resources and then selecting your function app. On the function app screen, under the function tab, let's go there. So let's see. So under the functions tab, is that over here? And let's see, on your function app, on the function app screen, under the functions tab, do you see a functions tab? I see not a function. Oh. No. Oh wait, was it there? Nope. That's kind of funny. Functions isn't there, but function will bring up API definition. Okay, let's go back a notch. It said under the, so here's all my resources. Here's my function app. Open it from the home page by selecting all resources, then select your function app. Name something like, I didn't name it that way. I named it this way, but that shouldn't be an issue. All right, so open it. And then it said under the functions tab. Whoops, what is that? Remember this too. No, go away. Let's try that again. Get published profile, reset, stop, start. I don't see a functions tab. Oh, it's not an item you can link to. It's a category. Okay. Jeez. All right. Create Azure portal. tab, select create in Azure portal. All right, functions. Well, under the functions tab, there is no create. On the function app screen, under the functions tab, select create in Azure portal. So this stuff feels outdated to me, right? I mean, am I not seeing something here? It says create in Azure portal. There's not a create in Azure portal option. Under select a template, select HTTP trigger. Functions, app keys, app files, proxies. Yeah. Okay, so that's what's frustrating about classes like this, when they don't actually have, I mean, when you go to the locations they say to go to, functions, app keys, and app files, that's all that's there. And it says here, on the function app screen, under the functions tab, select create in Azure portal. And it's not there. What if I go to the functions app? Not there. I don't think it's going to matter. This is just a different thing. Yeah, it just takes me back here from a different route. Create functions in your preferred. I wonder if I should just try something like this. Create. Oh, here we go. Create an Azure portal. Gee, that's already down here. So they put it. Okay, so they did change it. It's not under this functions. Oh my gosh. Never mind. I'm dumb. I'm not dumb. Just obviously not that observant sometimes. Ignore me. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're here. What are we doing? Select create the HTTP trigger. Okay, select a template. Select HTTP trigger. Here we go, right on top. And then next. No, I don't want to do next. Select a template. Okay, I did. And then we go select create. Now, create function. This is not something you click otherwise, so I'd have to go next. All right. The HTTP trigger is created and displays in HTTP trigger 1 functions pane. All right, here's create. But in the developer menu left side, select code plus test. The code editor opens, displaying the contents. All right, well, we'll just do this one because all it's saying is use HTTP1 trigger. And they're not even saying give it a name. So I think that's a new, like I said, this isn't exactly a match for what's over here. It's not all the same. You have to kind of find stuff on your own sometimes. All right, in the developer menu on the left side, select code plus test. Here we go. We have code plus test. Code editor opens, displaying the contents of the index.js code file for your function. The default code in the following snippet. So yeah, that matches pretty good. Yeah. All right, it's the same as they're saying. Your function expects a name to be passed in either through HTTP request, query string, or part of the request body. The function responds by returning the message, hello. The HTTP triggered function executed successfully, echoing back the name that was sent in the request. Nice, okay. From the source file drop-down list, select function JSON. Is that down here? From the source file drop-down list. Again, I don't see source file drop-down list. I'm probably just blind again here. What do we got here? Log level, app insights logs, logs, source files drop-down list. Oh, is that something? Is that something that's not in here? Maybe it's not inside here. The source file dropdown list. See, this is the thing about taking classes, man. It's like you got to be. Is it this guy? Copy title print. Nope. Is source files dropdown list? Is it down here? Is there source files? Okay, from the source file, select function JSON to view the configuration of the function, which should look like the following code. Yeah. Is it? No, it's not it. I don't know. All right, let's click on these other things. I'm pretty sure I'm in the wrong place, but function keys, logs. It says source files drop-down list. Oh, that must be the source files drop-down list. Okay. Huh. Okay. So we pick this function JSON, and it does look like that. Okay, so now we're getting it. All right. So this is, it's not words. It says source files or anything. It's just from the, what do they call these? Cookie crumbs from the URL above. Okay, found it. Test the function. Tip: CURL is a command line tool that can be used to send or receive files. It included with Linux, Mac OS, and Windows 10 and can be downloaded for most other operations. CURL supports numerous protocols like HTTP, blah, 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 following links. For more information, see the following links. Request the function URL using CURL on the command. All right, let's try CURL. So that's docs. Does it? It's just one of those things we have to find. I guess. Get function URL. Code plus test. We're there. Get function URL. Master default function key. Okay. To test the function, you send an HTTP request to the function URL using CURL on the command line. Expand the logs frame at the bottom of the trigger function pane. Select file system logs. In the drop-down at the top of the logs frame, the log frame should start accruing trace notifications every minute. To find the endpoint URL or the function from the command bar, select get function URL as shown in the following image. I did that. Hey, they actually pointed out where it is. How nice of them. So it's one of the nice little benefits that they should do a little bit more, obviously. As shown in the following image. Save this link by selecting the copy to clipboard icon on the end of the URL. Store this link in Notepad or similar app for later use. Interestingly enough, I get like 3 links. Function key, host key. It's probably because I'm on the wrong thing, huh? I should probably be here maybe? I could do what they said first. Logs. Connected, you're visiting. Okay, so logs frame at the bottom of the trigger function pane. Select file system logs. And then it says drop down. The log frame should start accruing trace notifications every minute. Oh, okay. Oh, it is showing like, here's one. Huh, alright. To find the URL of the function from the command bar, select get URL functions. Did that. I would imagine it's this one, the default. Store this link in Notepad or a similar app for later use. All right, well, let's do that. Now, I'm going to go to my notes and turn off my D&D stuff. And we're going to go Azure Training. We're going to go new page. Test function. I'll see if that's good. Let's go get this C URL. So we need this in our for our testing. What does that say? Oh, I don't know. Something about I just I play that game so. Let's go to I guess this thing. See. Neither one of these actually take you to where you get the app. Oh, it's already installed, huh? How do I get to it then? If it's included with Mac OS and Windows. How do I open it? Do I just go C URL command? Well, why don't I just go look? Curl's command line tool for getting curl supports HTTPS directory where the curl program is located. Current working directory, Windows system directory, Windows directory. In the Windows platform, if a CH certificate is found, curl will look for a CH certificate for name. Curl call bundle in the following order. Curl return an error. Example, basic use of curl involves simply typing curl at the command line. Oh, okay. All right, let's see how this goes. So if I type this, it should at least tell me something. Oops. Jeez, where's my fingers at? Okay, here we go. This is not the full help. The menu is stripped into categories. Use help category to get overlay of all categories. All right, let's go. Let's see. Curl -D. All right, curl help -D. Ah, there you go. Here's the list of all categories. Wait, didn't it say stripped into? What do you mean that's not there? There's data. It should be post data. Oh, maybe dash data. But this says invalid category provided. Here's a list of all categories. Auth, connection, curl. The command line tool itself. HTTP. All right, let's try that one. We'll go. Curl -- help, and we'll say HTTP. Aha, we're getting closer. There's stuff showing up now. Hey, I like this thing. Shows a UI though, doesn't it? I mean, isn't this showing a UI? Oh no, I guess it's not. Open a command prompt and run curl to send an HTTP request to the function URL. Keep in mind to use the URL that you copied in the previous step. All right, well, let's just do that. Let's just do that. Curl, Control V. The HTTP triggered function executed successfully. Pass a name in the query string or in the request body for a personalized response. Oh, okay. Now pass a name in the request. To do that, you need to add a query string parameter named name to the URL. The following example adds a query string. Yeah, it's okay. All right, so curl. We do that. And then ampersand name equals active mind gamer. Did I do that wrong? Probably. Well, it says the example here, right? It says curl. Oh, I have to put it in string. Okay, so curl like that. And then ampersand name equals active mind gamer. Hello, active mind gamer. The HTTP trigger functioned successfully. Okay, cool. So I kind of knew how to pass the URL name. That much I kind of knew. But I wasn't sure with this long little string if I was supposed to put it early or late, and because anytime you pass a query parameter, it's usually ampersand name value pair. That's how you query parameters. And I was doing that with my Next.js and React and whatever. But cool, we got that. That's a lot shorter and briefer than the other one, huh? Okay, so HTTP triggers let you use API keys to block unknown callers by requiring a key part of the request. When you create a function, you select the authorization level. By default, it is set to function, which requires a function-specific API key. It can also be set to admin to use a global master key, or anonymous to indicate that no key is required. You can also change the authorization level through function properties. Because you specified function when you create this function, you need to supply the key when you need the HTTP request. You can send it as a query string parameter named code, or use the preferred method and pass it as an HTTP header named xFunctions key. To find the function master keys in the function app menu, under developer, select function keys. The function keys name. All right, well, let's go back here and see what that looks like. I think that was actually what I was getting here, right? Oh, okay, so this key uses the master key. And this one probably uses a different key. So if I go to function keys, then we have this. Because you specify function, or use the preferred method to pass it. To find the function and master key, the function app menu, under developer, select function keys. The function keys pane for your function appears. Well, that's what I got. I don't see a developer pane, but probably could have found it. If I would have went back to here, oh, the developer pane, go here, and then see, but that's not here. Look, under developer, there's 4 items, but I see 2. Let's see if I. Oh, that's deployment. There isn't even a developer. But that's all right. I got function keys right up here. At least I did. Where'd it go? It's doing something. Oh, there we go. So there's not, this doesn't actually have, unless it's like just not showing. No. There is no developer section. This doesn't do anything, so yeah, So there's no developer section, but function keys is right here. So we got code test, integration. So they basically took the developer stuff that's showing up here on the developer piece, and they just put it in menus at the top. So it's constant changing. That's the thing about Azure. It's in a constant state of update because they add stuff and update stuff all the time. I remember at Premiere there'd be days I'd come back and be like, where did they put this, or where they moved this or that. So documentation probably gets outdated quickly. Just hopefully that functionality is still there under the same name. It's just going to be somewhere different. To test the function with the function key, open a command prompt and run URL to send an HTTP key request to the function URL. Replace your function key with the function key value you saved. To test the function with the function key, open a command prompt and run URL to send an HTTP request to the function. Replace your function key all right, so if I go back here and then just copy this and paste it and then take this and bring it over. I don't know if I should show this. Do I trust you guys? Do I trust the world? If I go in here and oops, what did I do? You know, really, it'd be easier, and it would probably save me a lot of pain if I just went up here and created a note version of this. So I'm gonna go over here and go. I'm gonna take this value. So sometimes if you just do this, then if you have to do it again, it's way easier. Your life will be less complicated. So then I take this. And then I say, what is it? You saved and replace your HTTP URL. Your HTTP URL. With this. With the URL of your function. Oh. So it's this. Still not putting the key in yet. Okay. To test this function, open a command prompt and run curl to send HTTP request to the function URL. Oh. Okay. I feel like I have two things here, like I copied it twice. Yeah, that's probably what I did. Huh. Okay. I have to go. Is this like really long? Yeah, that's what I did. I totally. I don't know what I did, but that was wonky. Okay, let's try this again. Let's put this here. Okay. Yeah. I got it. All right, so we're good. I just need to make sure I got the copy right. I didn't. I somehow doubled it or something. All right, review the command URL and verify that it has the following values. Request. Oh, and I have to put this in my function key, which is going to go right here. Which it didn't. Oh, I see what's happening. It's not even. Is that not copying it? It says copied. Okay. Now review the URL command and verify that it has the following values. Added a content type, header value of type application JSON. Yes. Passes the function key at the head value. X function keys. Yes. Use the post request. Yes. Pass the Azure function with the URL for your function. Yes. Check the logs. Well, function key saved. So it says to test this function. Command prompt and run curl. Okay, so let's run this. What the heck? Delete? I want to delete. Won't let me replace this value. Nope, it has the value. What the heck, man? I don't want to run that. The life. All right, let's just do this. This I can do, but it won't let me delete it. It's like, nope, it's going to be all or nothing. You gotta backspace. I must be doing something totally wrong on the line. You can't. There's probably some command. I don't know command editor very often. I don't use this. It's not my my normal mode of operandi. Okay. Test function. URL function. Review the URL. Check the logs. Finish it open session displayed. All right. I'm gonna go back to here. We're going to go back to function logs, or file system logs. Now it's connected. Should open a session. The code test pane should open a session displaying a log file output. The log file updates with the status of your quest, which should look something like this. Okay, well, let's do it. Hey, look, we got something that looks something like that. Okay, executing, JavaScript, executing. Okay, it's cool, it's working. My stuff works, man. I mean, I don't know exactly what it's doing other than saying, yeah, it worked. It's not a very complex thing. But the fact that it does anything at all is kind of cool, right? So we've got my function running. We know kind of now my brain's starting to absorb and kind of configure around. All right, I get how this is kind of doing its thing. Now again, my mind is still trying to resolve. Okay, I know how the function works now. If you put code in here, yes, you can pass parameters to it. Yes, but what's it doing? I mean, can you put in website data here and it'll pop up a website for you? Can you put in like, I don't know, React code? I mean, what kind of, it's an index.js, so, right? I mean, you can put something in there that makes the function call that. Maybe you put a home page in for the function and the function loads up your website when it's executed. You know, put a URL in, boom, it functions, pops up, and suddenly code starts running. I'm curious. I mean, I don't know what'll happen if I put in just like website page. Will it pop up website page? I don't know. Maybe it'll do that. Maybe that's part of the class here. But it seems like if it runs the stuff, maybe it does run whatever you trigger and you put in your home page to it, and boom, you know, it's going to run. And then any references to other code would be in your storage area, and it would reference that storage stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's the concept of how a website would run in Azure, but maybe it's not. Maybe I'm totally off base here. But it sounds like this could be your starting point, your entry point to your website working. You know, or my website in my case. But okay. Here we got some business logic. Let's see what that does. Maybe that's what we're talking about. Okay, let's add logic to the function to check temperature readings that it receives and set a status for each temperature reading. Our function is expecting an array. Now I'd like it to give me something other than just throwing stuff down in my log, but maybe that's next steps. Okay, our function is expecting an array of temperature readings. The following JSON snippet is an example of the requested body that we'll send to our function. Each reading entry has an ID, timestamp, and temperatures. Okay, so this is your data source. Let's replace the default code in our function with the following code. All right, so we're going to go back to the function. Well, right, so it'll be the function. JSON. So the default code is what is this function HTTP trigger, blah, 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 get post. This is going to be kind of similar. Context log, drive, gear, temperature, service triggered. If body, we're going to check the body. There's the readings for each in this thing. We're going to go read through it. It's like reading status, okay, caution, danger. So we're getting different temperatures. And then we're going to go down here. Ultimately, we're going to have a response that's 200, which is good, right? We got everything ran through properly. Please send an array of readings in the request body. That's as if we don't send the readings. So in the request body. So I'm not sure how we're going to do that, but I think that'll probably be where we set the JSON. So we're going to go here. Let's replace the default code to implement business logic. An HTTP triggered one function. Open the index.js file and replace it with the following code. Oh, it's the index.js file. Now this does have the constants in the actual code. So okay, so the index.js, well, yeah, because that's what React is. I don't know why I always think that the code is so different everywhere. All right, so we replace that. The logic we add is straightforward. We iterate through it. Okay, danger, blah, blah, blah. We then send the array back status field to each entry. Notice the log statement, when you expand logs at the bottom of the pane, when the function runs, these statements add messages. So we're going to go here. I got to go back. Our function is expecting an array of temperature. The following JSON snippet is an example. Each reading entry has ID timestamp. Let's replace the default code of our function with the following code. So I would think that this is the, let's see, how are we doing? Test our business logic. We're going to use test run feature in developer code test to test our function. All right, let's go see that thing that he's talking about. In the input tab. See, there's no input tab. We don't do that. Replace the contents of the body text, the body text box with the following code to create our sample. Test run. Input. Okay, there we go. See, developer code test. We are on code test and test. Oh, I guess it is there. I mean, it's just developer is not a thing, or that tab doesn't work anymore. It doesn't exist. They just put it all on this page. In the input tab, replace the contents of the body text box with the following code to create our sample request. Okay, so we're going to copy this. In the input tab, replace the contents of the body. Oh, it's right here. Okay, okay. Cool. So we can put in our test data here. So, and this will read off of it. I'm starting to assemble this. My brain is starting to wrap around as more and more stuff comes in. And then what? We click run. Execute says it. Pass a name in the query string in the request body for personalized response. Oops. Is that actually a thing? I thought I replaced all that. Select run. The output Did it do that? No, did not do it. So something I did didn't do what I thought it would do. Oh, maybe I have to, no, it says run. I should be able to run it, right? Do I have to save something? Did I not save? Maybe I have to save this. It doesn't work until I do that. Let's go back here. And then we have that. And now let's try run. All right, so this is the response content. This is what it's sending back. It's sending me one, blah, blah, temperature, status, okay, caution, danger. And we have it down here, reading is okay, caution, danger. Executed, function succeeded, temperature service triggered, drive gear, temperature service triggered. There we go. There we go, man. It worked, so I just had to save. That's all. I was just missing my save. The output tab shows that a status field has been correctly added to each of the readings. In the developer menu on the left, select monitor to see that the request has been logged to application insights. So let's close this. And it says do what? In the developer menu on the left. There's no developer menu, man. They got rid of that. So is it here? No. Where do I go to? In developer menu on the left, select monitor to see the request has been logged to application insights. The monitor pane appears for your function. Oh, here's application insight logs. The monitor pane appears for your function. The invocation tab of the pane displays invocation traces. Invocations. Success. Hey, we got it 6 times. We have not got an error yet. Woohoo! We're doing it. We're doing it, man. We're cruising. We are getting this. We are mastering the art of Azure. Okay, so I got one function going. Let me talk it up a little bit. Something. Okay, up to 20 last recent invocations. Open and, oh, here we go. That one opens in application insights. New logs experience. Well, yeah, let's just try the new log analytics. Well, let's just close that for now. But yes, we have our runs, and yep, we definitely have the runs. Oh, good. The invocation tab of the pane displays invocation traces for each of your functions. Select the date UTC value for one of the invocations and view the details. Okie dokie. It's probably back on the previous page because this is just showing you that yes, it runs here, but if I don't want to, if I want to go to invocations, I have to go back to where it was. That's just another way to get to application insights because you don't get to it from the previous page. Oh, did I save something? Did I do anything? Okay. I don't think I did anything, but whatever you see, man. All right, date UTC. Oh, here we go. Select the date. All right, well, what's the most recent one? 1826. And here are the details. Run in application insights. Select one of the vacation and view the details about the execution of your function. There it is. There's all of the stuff that happened. Just my function. Function, what's your junction? No, it's actually junction, what's your function, right? But function, what's your function? All right, summary. We've learned how to use Azure Functions to host business logic services in the cloud. It's a great way to add hosted services to your solution that can scale and grow with your business. Your focus on the code using the languages of your choice and Azure manages infrastructure. Functions can integrate with the service like Event Grid, GitHub, Twilio, Graph, and Logic Apps to create complex, robust serverless functions, workflows. In this module, you created resources using your Azure subscription. It's weird because if I fill this out, I don't see how this goes back, but I'll enter this, but this is just, like I said, we're kind of overlapping the Microsoft Learn with the Coursera, so this is not the Coursera stuff, but which of the following best defines serverless logic? Code you write that doesn't run on servers. Code you write that runs on servers you manage. Code you write that runs on servers a cloud manager provides. Yeah. The container that provides functions into logical unit for, wait, what are we doing? Wait, the container that groups functions into a logical unit for easier management, deployment, and sharing is called a function app. We secured our function against unknown HTTP callers by requiring a function API key call. Which of the following fields is the header in the HTTP request that needs to contain this key? X function key. Yay! You earned experience points for completing the knowledge check. I don't even know how that works because that's just on my Microsoft Learn thing, which is not Coursera. Introduction module, introduction to Azure functions. Save. We'll save that. Sure, why not? I don't know. Doesn't do anything. But I actually did this class. I'm certified in Microsoft Azure Fundamentals, but it's not attached to this. It was attached to my my work account. I have the cert somewhere. I think. But that's one of the problems with doing things through work. And when you leave, they're like, "Aha, we have proof of all your proof. You can't have it because we're lame that way." Okay, so let's I don't need all these Azure windows anymore, right? I'm gonna close up some of these just to make my life easier as I move on to the next thing. And now we're on to the Coursera class again. Where was I? My Coursera class. Did it disappear? Oh. Okay. Where's my Coursera class? It is, friends, programming, create storage account. Aha, right here. Nope, that's not it either. Microsoft Learn, my D&D stuff. Probably don't need any of that. Let's close that whole window. Let's get organized. Get rid of some junk, man. Nope, don't need that either. So that's not it. But we are reducing the number of things in my face. Is it this one? More D&D. Don't need that or that or that. I probably don't need any of this. Let's close that whole thing. I have a lot of junk on my screen. I'm always, that's me, man. I load up a lot of things. All right, so I think ultimately I may have just, closed the window. Microsoft Learn and that. Okay, so we're just gonna get rid of that too. So I'm down to just my programming window, and we're gonna do this. Open in new window. Oh, my daughter's calling. I better see what she's got going on. She's a horror movie addict. That's why you hear it playing that. Well, that's actually not a phone call. That's a text. I don't even think I have. I should have signed that to her phone, too. My daughter needs a new retainer. She broke hers. All right, so let's on to the next thing here. We finished that. We can go on to, we did the reading, logic apps, mark is completed. Go to next item. We are getting close to finishing this first module bit because there's not much left in this first bit. Practice quiz. All right, let's go take my practice quiz. See what this is one of those dumb things. Did you complete the exercise? Yes, I did. Then, okay. That's why I hit next, because I didn't complete it. All right, what's next? Practice quiz. Another knowledge check? Start assignment. Okay, this is a knowledge check. I think this one actually is a test. Okay, well, let's see. The tests are small. There's only 5 questions. Well, not always, but the ones I've been doing between this and the other Coursera, the Python one, about 5 questions. Questions include, which of the following are characteristics of an Azure serverless solution? Azure serverless solution. You can use only JavaScript and C#. No, that's not true. You are charged on reserved time. You have no servers to manage. That's about right. I believe it's automatic scaling too. You are charged on reserved time. You are charged on reserved time. I don't think that's right. I don't think so. I'm gonna show you the questions because this is stuff you need to know. And these are just these questions. I mean, there's a bunch of other quizzes I've done that haven't been on screen. So I believe it's going to be like automatic scaling. You can use only JavaScript, C#. That is totally wrong. You can use a lot of different languages. And I don't think you're charged on reserved time. Because why would you? I mean, the whole point of a function is to be, I guess it depends on how you set up, but I don't think that's true. It'll tell me if I'm wrong, and then you can do it again. In terms of execution times, what are the default timeout and the configurable timeout of a function? I think you can configure 10 minutes. I think it's 5 and 10 minutes. What makes a function execute? What makes a function execute in workflow? Triggers. True or false? Functions cannot be used in traditional compute environments. I think that's false. I mean, why couldn't you use them in traditional environments? I don't remember it saying you couldn't. I missed that if it said that. Which of the following can you use to test your Azure functions? The Azure portal itself. Yes. Ooh. I am a master. I'm a master. I have completed another quiz at 100%. So I am paying attention. On occasion I pay attention. It's, every now and then, when it suits me. Test prep. Uh-oh. Do we actually have a test coming up? Start assignment. Is that, this is test prep. Ooh, 7 questions. All right, well, let's see what test prep has. Your company is developing an application which has the following requirements. A couple of modules which get executed on schedule with short-lived processes. The application owner wants to keep operating costs minimal. The administrator wants to keep admin activities minimal. Which deployment environment compute service should you recommend for the modules? A couple of modules which gets executed on schedule. The application owner wants to keep operating costs. The administrator wants to keep admin activities minimal. So this is probably going to be just a couple. I mean, since it's just a couple of modules, it doesn't sound like they're talking about a lot of dev stuff, so which would take functions and probably even logic apps out of it. I mean, logic apps are a little bit more dev. Let's go with logic apps. A web app is not that. I mean, you need to have some kind of logic, some kind of function that's going to run these modules. Web app is an app that's going to call or trigger or do something that's going to run those modules, which will probably run through logic apps. And a virtual machine will host that stuff. But I don't think you're going to need all the other stuff. You're developing a custom Azure function app to connect to Azure Event Grid. Now, we haven't talked a ton about Event Grid, but the Event Grid is what gets, events happen that fire triggers that run functions. So it's kind of like the parent. You want to ensure that resources are allocated dynamically to the function app. Billing must be based on the execution of the app. What should you configure when you create the function app? See, we haven't talked a lot about Docker containers either. So I feel like they're giving us some stuff here that's not really mentioned. So there hasn't been a ton of talk about Docker containers. The Windows operating system and the consumption plan, hosting plan. What should you configure when you create the function app? And then you're having to know what the S tier pricing plan. Okay, so yeah, I would say with Windows operating system and the consumption plan, hosting plan. You're developing a custom Azure function app. Let's say consumption, because function apps run based on usage, and I think that's based on consumption, right? I don't, like I said, I don't know enough about Docker. I don't, and an app service plan that uses the S1. See, that requires the S1 and B1 pricing tiers. I don't know what those are. So I'm going to assume it's not one of those because I don't remember them talking about it. Notes, please. You have an Azure App Service API that enables users to upload documents to the cloud with a mobile device. A mobile app connects to the service by using REST API calls. When a new document is uploaded to the service extracts the document metadata. Usage statistics for the app showed significant increases in app usage. The extraction process is CPU intensive. You have to modify the API to use a queue. You need to ensure that the solution scales, handles request spikes, and reduces costs between request spikes. Yikes. What should you do? I think we actually did kind of talk about this in when we were talking about the bicycle rental thing. Configure a series of CPU optimized virtual machines. Man, that just sounds complicated. And install extraction logic to process a queue. Sounds like a bit much. Configure Azure Container Service to retrieve items from a queue and run across a pool of virtual machine nodes using the extraction logic. Still seems like a bit much. Move the extraction logic into an Azure function. Create a queue triggered function to process the queue. See, that sounds better. Sounds like more simplified. Configure a CPU optimized virtual machine and install the now. I think it's this one. This is kind of what we've been working on, and that is kind of the premise of a function, right? Create a queue triggered function to process the queue. Now, these are all probably options, things you could do, but the idea is to try to come up with the best solution, right? You plan on creating an event-driven solution, and you decide to use the Azure functions. What is the direction that the binding code follows when connecting services to data? Reads from the output, writes to the input. Why don't you read from the input, write to the output? That just seems more logical. Writes, I would just think this, but reads from input, writes to output and input. I think it's just read from input, write to output. I don't think you can write back to the input, can you? One of the ways you can monitor your function in the Azure portal is by using application insights. True. What is the name of the container that groups functions into a logical unit? Oh, it's a function app. Which of the following best describes serverless logic? So these are questions that were on the other quiz. The code you write that runs on server the cloud manages. All right, let's see how I did. 7 questions. I'm guessing I missed one or two on this one. How many has that missed? 85.7 out of 7. That means I missed 2? That's about right. Actually, it's one, huh? Because, yeah. All right, so I got them all right except the first one. Okay. Try going back and reviewing when to choose Azure Functions to run your business logic. So the answer is Azure Functions, because when to choose. Your company is developing an application which has the following requirements: a couple of modules. The application owner wants to keep operating costs minimal. So I would have thought Logic Apps would have done that. So it's not web apps or virtual machines. So if it isn't Logic Apps, it's Azure Functions. I just thought Logic Apps were simpler, and I felt like this was only two, and maybe you didn't need that. But maybe it's because there's only two. It's super easy. Um, Perhaps. I pass, so it's probably not asking me to test again. If you fail, it will ask you, well, they usually ask you if you want to test again, but the answer here is probably function apps. Oh, but back to this. I hate when they do that. All right, we're doing the lesson summary. Where are we at? How long is this? Oh, that's only 47 seconds. Here, let's leave that on.
You've learned how
So this is the teacher.
business logic services it's a great way to
And they always show you the text, so the entire thing is right here. So if you don't want to, if you want to do this quietly,
focus on the code using the
you could just read.
choice, and Azure manages the infrastructure. Functions can integrate with other services like GitHub and Logic Apps to create complex and robust serverless workflows quickly and easily. And finally, a word on cleanup. The sandbox automatically cleans up your resources when you're finished with this module. When you're working in your own subscription, it's a good idea at the end of a project to identify whether you still need the resources you created. Resources left running can cost you money. You can delete resources individually or delete the resource group to delete the entire set of resources.
All right, so I don't know if those are charging me anything or not. I'm not using Sandbox because you had to create your stuff before. I mean, like you create your account in Sandbox. I didn't do that, so it's probably a good idea for me to actually it'd be nice if I could just keep it and just disable it, but I don't know. I mean, I don't. Is there a way to see what the charges are going on here? I mean, that I don't know. I think I don't have anything charging me. How do I? Azure monitor your apps and infrastructure, Microsoft Learn, Kubernetes, Quickstart, resource groups, storage accounts. No, so I got to delete some of these because the only one here that I have that's doing anything is this. That's my storage. That's my function app. My resource group is this one. So anything that's not AZ204 course, I could dump. So let's go here. Clean up. AZ204 course. That one's going away, going away, going away, going away. And management. Oh, guess you can't delete. You can't delete in bulk. Can I even delete in not bulk? I don't even see an option to delete these at all. Okay. How do I get rid of this stuff? Do I have to go to the item and delete it? Delete resource group, okay. Oh, and then you have to go down here and type, was it enter resource group name to confirm deletion? Oh, really? They want to make sure you know what you're doing if you delete it. They're not gonna let you just delete something. And then so if I go to delete resource group, copy the name, paste it here because I have to be in both places. I have to delete. And then I click here, and I go to delete resource group, and then I copy here, paste it here, hit delete. At the very least, get rid of stuff I'm not using, right? I mean, we don't need no unnecessary stuff. Okay, so that should pretty much clean that up. So if I hit, I click this. Oh, something didn't work. Try to delete that. Delete. So why didn't it delete? Maybe I have to be more patient. Maybe I clicked away too fast or something. Perhaps I have to wait until at least that that dialogue. Huh. It's not going away. I mean, it's still saying it's doing something, but I want faster response. What the heck? Oh, it still says deleting. Okay. It is doing it. I probably don't need this guy at all. That one. Eventually it'll get rid of wuss. I gotta get rid of the wuss. Okay, so we're getting rid of that. I think it's still doing it, so we're okay. And the AZ course is all that we worked on. Now, I don't know, again, I don't know how to tell. I'll go to subscriptions. Let's see if it's got any charges on here, or if there's a way to tell. Current cost, 0. Okay, well, that's good. So far, my stuff is not costing me any money, I guess. I would imagine if I was doing anything, it would show up here, right? Because I used this subscription. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave my stuff in existence for the moment. That's it. I don't think there's anything left for me to do. Click next. And now we are on to the next module, whatever that is. Use triggers to determine how an Azure function is executed. Okay, so it's 12 o'clock. I know I've only been going for about an hour. Oh, an hour and a half, something. I'm going to go do my lunch break, which means get some food and get myself ready for the afternoon. And then I'll come back hopefully by 1, and I'll continue on. I want to try and get some more progress. The triggers will be helpful. I am, like I said, starting to mold ideas in my mind how I can actually try to reverse engineer my website using Azure as my host, and you know, trying to build some new functionality in there, or build the same functionality into the new site. Turning a C# app into a single page React Node.js app. That's something I keep talking about. I am going to do it. Just trying to gather all the bits and pieces. I haven't decided yet what backend language. I'd like to probably try to use Python, only because, again, Python's something I don't know. And in that, I'm going to probably have to start doing some learning, additional learning, where I take on more Python classes to learn what Python can do, take on something more advanced as far as Next.js goes, or just see what there is out there for practice tools that show me more advanced functionality with those tools. So I could maybe continue to optimize my skills and become more useful to all those people out there hiring for jobs that use the skills I have and a bunch of skills I don't, and want me to have those skills before they're going to give me a job. So we'll see. I can't expect to be an expert without doing it, and I can't say I have experience without experiencing it. I'll see you guys in a bit. I'll take a break. Bye.